Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? It's been a while. I know it's been a while, but I'm currently getting more set up. And for those of you guys watching on YouTube and everything like that, that's why you're not getting any video today. So I apologize about that. But for everybody listening on the podcast, of course, this is pretty usual for you. So nothing's changed. And I want to just again always start by thanking Anchor for getting the podcast out there on all the different platforms and everything like that. So for those of you listening on Anchor or any site like Spotify, Castbox, iTunes, anything like that, you guys know all about this. But for everybody on YouTube, I'm going to post the links in the description below so that you guys can check out the podcast on, like I said, Spotify, Castbox, iTunes, all that, or anchor.fm/Insomnia Talx. Go check it out, guys. So, again, I know it's been a while. And that's because I've been going back and forth with some work and everything and trying to get things a little more financially suitable on my end of things. And, hey, didn't work out in Georgia, so I am back in South Carolina again. But I gotta follow the money, people. Gotta follow the money. And I'm not making enough or anything like that right now, just off the podcast or off YouTube. And I probably never will on YouTube, let's be honest. But you guys can also do donations and stuff directly through Anchor, by the way, if you guys do like what I'm doing and everything like that and want to hear a lot more of it. And rather than taking like 2.5 months off like I had to do, which sucked, but you guys kept it going, kept on with the downloads and everything. So as always, thank you guys the most for supporting this and everything. So, oh boy. Let's just get right into the main topic today. I want to talk about legalizing drugs. That's really what I think I want to get into today. So, I think, and when I say legalizing drugs, I mean all drugs. Every last one of them. Okay? And the reason why I want to do that, or I think we should do that rather, is not because I want to do them all, because I definitely don't. There's a lot of drugs out there that I don't think people should do, but I also think that people have the right to make a decision on what the hell they're putting into their own body. You know, I can drink coffee, which is really not good for you probably on the levels that I drink it. Smoking cigarettes, man, you can do that legally at 18. You don't even have to be 21. Alcohol kills how many hundreds of thousands of people a year just in America alone? I mean, completely legal. Because it's a personal decision. That's why. Well, I think we should treat all drugs just like we treat alcohol. Over the age of 21, I think you should be able to go down to a dispensary and pick up any kind of drug that you want. And people are always asking me, well, what happens if, they OD? Well, I think we should legalize it, because after we legalize it, we can take a lot of that money that's made from it and put it back into educating people. Put it into rehab centers so that when people do decide, oh, this has become a problem and I really shouldn't do this anymore and I need help, then they can go get help. It's less stigmatized. So, again, I think it just comes back to I'm my own person, and if I come home at the end of the day and I had a rough day at work and I want to sit back and relax that night and drink, I can absolutely do that. But for some reason, if I wanted to do the exact same thing with a joint, no, can't do it. Well, in some states, yes, but the point being is I think it needs to be completely legal recreationally for anyone 21 years of age or older. And that goes for every other thing out there. And a lot of people go, what happens if they hurt or kill somebody while they're on it? Well, you treat it just like alcohol. If somebody leaves a bar at night drunk off their ass and then they go and they run somebody over and that person dies, they still get charged with murder. If I'm not mistaken, it's vehicular manslaughter, but still, it's not like they just get to say, oh, well, I was drunk, so that's my excuse, and they let them off. It doesn't work like that. So why can't we do that with all other drugs? Matter of fact, I'll go a little step further. If you do happen to hurt and or kill anyone while on any kind of drug, then I believe that you get the full sentence that you could possibly get, plus 15% of that sentence added on top. So see, you're not just able to go out there and get drugs and do whatever you want. It's not like that. There needs to be definite regulation on it. And there also needs to be the freedom to make that decision for yourself. I think that's insane, man. We talk about all the freedoms that we have in this country, yet we can't even decide what we do with our own damn bodies in some states because, like for the state that I'm in, you guys have seen me. I've got tattoos and stuff like that for anybody who watches on YouTube. But if I wanted to go get a tattoo right now, I can only get them below my shoulders in the state of South Carolina because the state of South Carolina dictates where you can put certain things on your own person. And I think that's absolutely insane. There's no reason for that. We shouldn't allow that in the slightest. I think it's ridiculous. Okay? So, oh boy. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand why we can't allow people to be responsible for themselves, be held accountable for their actions and things of that nature. Why do they always have to be put on someone else as the blame for things? And it's insane. And again, just like alcohol, people always go, what happens if you go to work and you're all high and everything like that and you're all messed up? Well, then you get fired. You know, just like you can't come into work shit-faced drunk, you can't come into work insanely stoned off your ass or all jacked up on coke or anything like that. You can't do that either. Okay, same rules apply here. It's very simple, at least in my head. You know, I'm trying to simplify things, and I don't get it, man. Everybody wants to make things so damn complicated. It really doesn't make any sense to me at all. When some of these solutions out there I think are really, really easy to come to, and people just seem to want to make things so complicated, and they always want to go, but what if, but what if, but what if, and some of those are great questions. Most of them are just really annoying, and they're always looking for that complex, complicated answer, when the answer is much simpler if you just sat back for a second and go, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Adults being treated as adults and being held accountable and everything of that nature. Yeah, in my head at least, it sounds like a good idea. I don't understand why so many people are against it. Probably because they're lazy and weak and just can't handle the accountability or the responsibility. And those people, well, maybe they do need to go hit a joint and just chill the hell out. Coffee. Because it's early in the morning. I don't usually do this in the morning like this, but I just had to get one out to you guys. I've been itching to get one out, man. I really have, and it's been like 2.5 months, I think, since I did my last podcast, and you guys have been checking that one out as well as all the previous, and so I was feeling a little bit guilty, but at the same time, I was just itching to do another one, and I figured this is what I was going to do, because I've been kind of joking about wanting to run for office in 2024, and so, like, of course, you have to have certain, policies and everything. So it's like, well, what will my policies be? Oh yeah, let's start with things that I actually know about, and then try to learn some more things about things that I maybe don't know so much about. And I think one of the easiest ones to go about is obviously. Oh, hold on a second, Riley, out. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't close that all the way apparently. But one of the things that I know about, not just from like being a dumb teenager and smoking weed and everything like that, but, my mother's disabled, so I see all the medications and stuff that she's on, and I see how they have to change them up all the time, and the adverse side effects and things like that. And, I go, okay, but aren't there things out there that maybe could work better, that maybe don't have all the side effects and things that she has to deal with on top of it? Like, I'm pretty sure half of her medications that she takes are to balance out the side effects of what the other medications do. And so I just think that, man, there's a lot of things that they use in the medical field already that are considered to be illegal. And so I don't get it. I thought that we were supposed to be trying to help people. And I think that it also gets people off the street. You remove that black market. Not only that, and I know this sounds kind of messed up, but think about all the dealers out there that don't get caught and have a lot of money. Those are what's known as entrepreneurs. Whether you like it or not, they are. And they're businessmen and women. And could be legally making this money and making it on an even grander scale, to be honest. And then we'd have even more millionaires in America. Do you know what happens when your country has even more millionaires? They spend more money on things. Now they can legally hire people to work. Now you're also, I know it sounds crazy, believe me, because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of drugs out there that I would never touch, I don't ever want to touch, and I don't personally ever want anything to do with in general. But man, you got people out there that are really, really good at selling drugs and things like that. So imagine if they could legally hire people and create jobs for people. You can't run an entire operation by yourself. You have to have other people to do it for you. But now imagine that those people are getting a W-2 rather than getting put in handcuffs. It lowers the amount of people that we put in prison every damn year. So we knock off some of that. And then the next thing, especially as far as prisons go, why do we always pay, or why do we continue to pay rather, to keep people on death row for 30, 40, 50 years? I mean, there's people out here right now that can't get medical coverage and they work 40 to 60 hours a week, and that's still barely enough to get by because they're trying to pay their bills and everything, and then they get hurt one time at work and they're completely screwed. Not everybody has workman's comp. Not everybody has a W-2. Some of us are independent contractors, and if we get hurt, we're completely screwed. We can't work at that point because now we have to, we're laid off because of any kind of medical reason or anything like that. Then we can't afford the medical coverage, so now it's coming up out of pocket, but we lost our job, so now we can't afford to pay it, so now we go into debt. That's crazy. But yet, the guy who raped and murdered children is sitting on death row for the next 40, 50 years and getting 3 hots and a cot, no rent that he has to pay, no medical bills or anything like that. But even if they get hurt or sick or injured, taxpayer dollars go to cover that. Why are we doing that? I think that's crazy. We shouldn't be doing that. We got everyday average Americans out there that are doing what they're supposed to do by trying to keep a roof over their heads, their families' heads, and trying to just make sure that their family is taken care of. But yet, these guys who literally have destroyed families get everything for free that the average working American can't get on their own, and they're out there busting their ass, living paycheck to paycheck. Why do we do that? That's nuts. We should not be doing that. And we really should stop, in my opinion. No, you don't get medical coverage anymore. You have forfeited your rights to that. That's what happens when you go to prison. You don't continue to get rights that other people can't afford to get as a damn privilege, but then at the same time, you're getting it for free, and not even for free. You're getting it because you fucked up. So we're going, hey, you completely messed up. You knew what you were doing was wrong, and now we're going to go ahead and just give you free food until you slowly die away in prison. Well, I almost hate to say this, but a 9mm round cost anywhere between 11 to 15 cents. Yeah, I'm pro death penalty because I don't think that we need to keep all these people alive when they've done things that have taken the lives of other people. Why are we going to... So we're rewarding you by taking care of you for the rest of your life? I don't think so. That's insane. That to me is just absolutely ridiculous, and I think that's a terrible, terrible idea, especially when you consider the fact that we can't take care of the people out there that are actually genuinely trying to work their asses off just to pay the bills and take care of their family. Those are the people that we need to help out. People that are already out there trying to make it work and doing everything they can to do so. But we don't give a damn about those people, do we? Not in the slightest. No. We only care about the criminals and the filthy rich, and that makes no sense because that's not anywhere close to the majority of Americans. Most Americans, if they're working, and I gotta say, economy is doing a lot better currently, and there are a lot more jobs out there, so things are starting to get better. I'm not denying that, but what I'm saying is Just because more people are working doesn't mean that they can afford the things that they need to be able to afford still. Not on one job. It's definitely not possible. And you guys know me, I am not opposed to having more than one job. Okay? I actually prefer to have more than one job. Even if I could pay all the bills with one job, I'd probably still have another because I can't slow down. Got to stay busy. But I think that we need to refocus some things. How many homeless veterans do we have right now? And I've said this one before, and I don't know if you guys have caught this, but as far as the wall goes, you know, and things have changed a little bit, but the last time I got all the numbers on it, the numbers were still at 5.7 billion for the wall and everything like that. I say we take 10,000 veterans off the damn streets and give them that 5.7 billion. That breaks out to 60K a year for the next 9.8 years, guys. Do you know what happens when you've got people and you take them off the street and you give the people that need a sense of purpose that sense of purpose again? You know, it not only does it help them psychologically, but it also boosts the economy because now these people aren't going to live on the street making 60K a year. They're going to go look into buying and renting houses and homes and things of that nature and spend money and put more money back into the economy. So you've done great things for the individual and great things for the country all in and of itself. It's getting people off the street, helping them have a sense of purpose again, and also at the same time building up and boosting the economy, boosting the housing market and things of that nature. So, I mean, come on. Again, there's a lot more stuff that goes into this. It's not just as simple as that, but again, I'm trying to simplify things as much as possible so everybody doesn't lose their shit and go, oh man, he's talking about politics way too much. But I just think that some of these things are really, really basic and simple, and I think that when we start to overcomplicate them, that's when people get sick and tired of hearing about it because they can't understand it, because the average person doesn't sit around and listen to politics all day. Again, they're out there trying to bust their ass to work just to put a roof over their head and put food in their kids' stomachs. That's the average American person right now. And I think that we keep hearing all this crap about how we always want to hire, or we always want to elect a common man or something along those lines. You guys have heard that phrase before, and if you haven't, then you're probably too young to be listening to this podcast. Get the hell out of here. But if you know what I'm talking about, or if you've ever heard that phrase before, then ask yourself why we never seem to be able to elect the common man. We never do that. We don't do that. We don't take somebody who actually has grown up and typically lived that paycheck to paycheck life, maybe came from a single parent household or something like that, understands the struggles because they've lived it. Not just, I went out into the community today and I saw a woman pushing a baby in a stroller and the father wasn't around, and get the hell out of here. Nobody cares about your little sob story that you went to the ghetto for fucking an hour and a half. Nobody cares. All right. What about somebody who's actually lived it? What about somebody who grew up in that single parent household? Somebody like that. And I'm not saying me specifically, but I think we keep talking about it, yet we never seem to actually do it. And I don't think politicians have any excuse nowadays. You don't need to raise money. You've got Twitter. You've got YouTube. You have all these different social media sites as a way to reach out and get your message out there. So you don't need money to reach out and connect with people in order to be able to get them to give you your vote and everything like that. That's not what's needed. But all these politicians go out and they campaign and they need all this money to do this and that and the other. And it's like, hey, why don't you put your shit up on YouTube, get your message out that way? And yeah, it might suck, but at the same time, hey, if your ideas are really that good, believe me, they're gonna catch on and people are gonna take recognition, and maybe that'll work. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I just think that if I was gonna run for office, that's kind of how I would do it. I just put it out there, let people share it, let the common individual hear it and everything like that. When I say common, I don't mean stupid. So for all those people out there going, you quit calling us common. I say common, I mean the majority. Okay, because I'm a common ass, alright? I think there's easier ways to go about fixing some of these problems and people need to stop looking so much at the titles of Republican and Democrat, because I think that really is a barrier in between finding a resolution or at least a compromise to a lot of these issues, because they can't see past that R, they can't see past that D, and it's like, come on, how about we look at the ideals of the individual and go based on that alone. Let's stop looking at the stupid titles that these aren't earned titles. Like, nobody earns the title of Republican, nobody earns the title of Democrat. They just go, oh, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. So it's not like you had to be educated, it's not like you had to be well off, it's not like you had to, there's nothing that you had to physically or mentally do, really, outside of just preparing yourself for the backlash of saying, I'm a Republican or a Democrat. But those titles aren't earned. You're not a doctor or anything like that. So how about we ignore those stupid titles that nobody really cares about, except to be able to say, well, I don't agree with you because you're X or Y. Who cares? How is that any different than saying, oh, well, you're black, I'm white. You're a girl, I'm a man. It's just stupid fucking titles. Now, that's a whole nother subject. And yeah, I'll say it again, there's only two genders, kiss my ass. But anyway, I think we need to try and simplify some things, things that should be, in my opinion, easy to come down the middle and meet. But too many people want to sit on the sides and bicker over the stupid titles in front of their names that don't matter. So I say we get rid of these stupid titles, and we no longer have the Republicans sitting on one side of the House and the Democrats sitting on the other side. You just combine them. Everybody go in, sit your asses down, because we're not here to talk about fairy tale titles. We're here to talk about the issues. We're here to meet in the middle ground, and we're here to come together and figure this shit out. So let's do it. I don't think this country needs a president. I think they need a moderator. Somebody to come down the middle and go, you know what? You've got some good ideas about this. You've got some good ideas about that. Let's find out why we don't agree, and let's find out where we do agree, and let's find out how we can both come to a compromise and meet in the middle. Okay? That's what we need right now. We don't need somebody to get up there and go, this is what it is. No. We need people that can sit there and come straight down the middle, I think. And right now, just not seeing it a whole lot. So that's why I had to get into the slightly political side of things today. Now, it looks like we're coming up on 25 minutes, and that's where I am going to cut it off. So I just want to go ahead and tell you guys, again, thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for keeping everything going while I wasn't putting out any new material and everything. So I really appreciate that, guys. The podcast is doing well, considering. And as is the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is starting to build up a little bit more and everything, getting a lot more views and stuff on there. So that makes me really happy. If you guys are listening to this strictly on the podcast, be sure to head over and check me out on YouTube. I put up all these, and you usually get a video, with the exception of this one, because, still setting up, still getting everything ready. So I wasn't ready to do a video for this one. But this is going up on YouTube as well. So again, check me out over there. youtube.com/Insomnia Talx. Go check it out, guys. If you like everything going on over there, you guys can comment, of course, on the videos and everything like that. Or you guys can come over and add me on Twitter at Insomnia Talx. I keep it all Insomnia Talx for you guys. It's not a whole bunch of jumbled, mixed up, crazy stuff. No excuses. Get over there and follow me. Subscribe on YouTube and everything like that. Keep up the downloads and plays from Anchor Podcasting. Let's see, and every platform that's on there. Again, for everybody on YouTube, I will put down a link for all of the channels, so you guys can hit me up. If you're using an iPhone, you got iTunes. If you're on an Android, you got a million other different options, which are even better. So thank you. No offense to Apple or iTunes in there, but just wanted to say again, thank you guys so much for coming, hanging out, listening, checking everything out. You guys are the best, and you guys keep coming back for more. All right, appreciate it, and you guys have a great one.